Hey everybody, Chance Priest here. Today's video is just going to be on my Warriors of the Universe figures made by Victory Comics, which is just me. I get questions all the time, like what are they made of? How do you paint them? How do you do this? How do you do this? Okay, first of all, I don't take any existing figure and put stuff on top of that figure, and then and it's a one-off custom. I don't do that. Everything I do, whether I sculpt on top of a figure, whether I sculpt the head from Raw, whether I sculpt whatever I do to it, I sculpt myself, I mold myself, and I cast myself, and everything you see is out of my plastic, which is not hobby resin. It is a urethane used on car parts, which is a really tough urethane. So there are certain things I can't do with it that other 5.5 artists can do. Like I can't do the clear stuff and the colors and all the sparkles and all that stuff like that. But I can. I also make a figure that's tough as nails. And you can make a lot of them, and they're extremely solid, and there's hardly any air bubbles ever, like only in the worst, craziest spots, and of course they get filled. But anyway, when I started this Warriors of the Universe deal, it's probably been about 2 years ago or so that I started, because I noticed a lot of guys. I mean, I'm new to Facebook, y'all. I've been on social media like 2 years or less. I probably had an account for 2 years, but I ain't been on there for 2 years. I've been on there a year and a half or something. I don't know. Anyway, I didn't know that there were so many people doing custom figures. Like I ordered custom figures like 15 years ago, custom Master Universe figures, and they came in and they were just junk. I mean, they were a mess. There were people gluing pieces and parts, and when I got in, the pieces and parts were falling off, and the paint was sticky, and it was a mess, and I hadn't had nothing to do with it ever since then. So I see all these people doing them. Luke Walker is the first guy that I saw, and I saw his work, and I was all like, wow, man. I mean, that's amazing, And of course, I've seen everybody that's out there. I've seen y'all's work, man. I'm just impressed by all y'all. I go back to Luke, number one, because I can always remember his name, because I try to give him a hard time. But anyway, I don't do anything because I'm wanting to make a toy. To me, it's all about the story, man. It's all, my mind starts working and starts building story, and I start writing, and then I start sketching stuff, and that's the way my mind works. And I can't just go, let me make a toy, because even though I'm a toy maker, I'm an artist toy maker. So, and every one of these Warriors of the Universe, they're a piece of artwork for me. Every single one of them. I've painted every Warriors of the Universe or WOTU figure. I've painted every WOTU figure that I've ever made, and of course now I do sell them unpainted, and because a lot of y'all guys like to paint yourself. That's cool, man. I mean, I'll help y'all out, tell y'all what y'all need to do, or help y'all. Y'all, a lot of y'all know more than I do, So, but anyway, what I did is in my grander story. These guys come from a certain moon. Every time you see a weird hand, or a vampire head hand, or a shark head hand, or a club head hand, or monster hands and all that stuff like that, there's a reason for that. That's not just some random thing I'm thinking, cool, let me do this, let me do that, That's all comes from, that's written down, that's all story. And granted, I'm slow about having my story out there, but there's a reason for that too. But anyway, so like I say, everything I do is in-house. The bodies I use, are Muscle Warriors bodies to start with, like a base, and of course everything's been rehashed. I mean, from arms to legs. Some of them are just completely different, I mean, they've been sculpted over so much that, it's basically my figure. I do like having that joint system already there. That helps out a lot. But, and y'all guys that are customizers, y'all know that. But, anyway, to date, I've done 170 different figures. That means there's 170 different names. There's 170 different heads on bodies. Not variations. I've done 170 different ones. I'm not out there trying to make so many. It's just, I can't stop myself because I have ideas, and just this week, I think I made 5 new ones just this week. So I can sculpt pretty fast. Everything I do it pretty fast because I kind of work around the clock and make it all happen, and I work real hard on them. Of course, I've done the monster castle that goes with them, and yeah, I knocked that off. I mean, that's the famous monster castle, you know, from Germany. Yeah, Germany, and which is a piece of crap if y'all have it. You know, I mean, it's flimsy, but anyway, of course, he has a whole new story. Which I guess the original one doesn't have a story on the back or nothing, but anyway, he has a story now, and you know, he was a giant that you know, turned into a castle. There's a story behind it, but anyway, and then here's just a whole mess of my Warriors of the Universe figures here. I have packaged ones up there, Red Morts, you know, just like right in this room here. There's probably 35 or 40 packaged. There's probably another 30 or 40 out here unpackaged. I make a lot of figures. My paint jobs, I know a lot of people like toy paint, is what I call toy paint, which is just your basic, like if they're red with black trunks, it's just red and black and you're done, you know. Well, I grew up painting toy soldiers, you know, little bitty 1/72 scale, 1/32 scale, and so I liked all the highlights and the low lights and all that stuff like that. And so I paint these just the way I know to paint. I never was taught by nobody. I just go and do it. And so you know, I do the best I can. And I don't ever turn out one unless I go, man, I love that, the way that looks. If it don't look good, trust me, and I've got a box full of ones that I painted and I don't think they look good, and they're just waiting for me to go over them and repaint, you know. So anyway, really just trying to give an overview of everything, of you know, like why I'm doing it, what I'm doing it for. I'm not trying to be I'm not trying to make these look like toys. They're not like made in China action figures. I want them to look like individual art pieces. I never actually built them to like go with everybody's 5.5 collection. Of course, I know that that's the way it is. It's integrated because I'm the same way with all my stuff, you know. I really made them to be their own figure line, you know. So, I mean, like you could have 170 different Wotan figures right now if you had one of every one I've made, you know. So, a lot of them I've sold one, I've made one, and I've got the mold and everything, and I've made one up, painted it, sold it. I've never made another one. So, y'all guys that are out there that have them, y'all got one of a kind. And I usually on the bottom of the feet, if there's a 1, then that's it. There you got the number 1. And usually after that, I don't number them unless I make 5 at a time or 10 at a time, and then I'll go ahead and number them if I'm all doing it. But I don't make little runs. I make runs of like 5 different figures or 10 different figures. But anyway, so yeah, man, it's just one of those. It's just like a passion for me, you know. I get up and I just think about what cool Warriors of the Universe stuff can I make today. I mean, look at this, and most 99% of all mine have movable legs and movable arms and movable heads, you know, and like I say, they're tough as nails. You can drop them on concrete, they won't break. They're like I say, they're a different type of material. Limits me to some stuff, but makes a lot of things a lot easier too. Anyway, there's a shark hand with a club hand, red mort. Got black morts coming out, and probably in a week or so. And anyway, and all my stuff stands up good. And after the paint job, I usually spray 3 to 4 coats of sealer on it. So man, the paint jobs are tough. Boy, I've knocked these things around and had no paint scratches or chips on my stuff. Trying to think anything else I can put in here. Add to it. There's just going to be a lot more coming out. I can tell you all that. And if I have my way about it, eventually Warriors of the Universe will be a mass production figure line. You know, because I'd love to not have to charge people $75 or $85 or $125 because they range. I mean, yeah, there's probably some I'd sell for $60, $65, but you know, for the most part, they're up there around $75, $85. And you get into the, you know, when you have a vampire head hand skull, you know, you're painting 2 faces. It's twice as long. You know, I don't have to tell you. Anyway, but I want more people to enjoy them and get the story and get it out there. So I'm starting with a 9-inch figure line that are going to be made out of vinyl. So hopefully I have that all ready and wrapped up in 6 months or so. But it is in the works right now. So hopefully y'all will. And of course that won't go with your 5.5 collection, but you'll have some big monsters to, big old giants to sit next to your stuff. Anyway, start with that. All this stuff takes lots of money, so it's baby steps. Anyway, I just wanted to throw this out there and tell y'all what I do and what I do it for. And I try to do it in the best artistic way of knocking something off as you can. Bootleg figures, that is an art. I don't care what anybody says. Some people have it, and some people just make weird crap, just crazy weird. And some people may think mine's that way, but it's not here. I think about everything long and hard before I make it. And there's people that just really have it. They have it. Luke's one of them. He's got that stuff down pat. Anyway, so if you ever want to order any, just holler at me on Instagram or something like that. I mean, what most people do these days, they say, "Hey, I saw you had that up. Has that one sold, or do you have another one like it?" And most of the time, I have to make one up. But like right now, I've been making like a crazy man, so I got a bunch of them made up. Anyway, but eventually, Monster Castle, the figures and everything in a mass-produced toy line. I've been in talks with people, so we'll see what happens, and hopefully we can get the figures out and get the price at least cut in half, and still have some good-looking figures and hell, the prototypes are already done, right? But anyway, I appreciate everything, y'all. Y'all tons of support, and I appreciate the heck out of it. And lots of shows coming up. 5 Points in Brooklyn. I'll be there in June. So come see me. I'll be there loaded for bear. Victory.